Hey there, this is Sally's Book Club. Tune in daily for great books as we bring you the world's finest reads. In our highly developed society today, we all share this common feeling. When life is stable behind closed doors, daily routines like cooking and chores might seem like your whole world. But once you step out, whether for school, job hunting, using health insurance, getting property deeds, or car registration, you immediately face ideological collisions about equality and fairness. Years ago, Harvard's Michael Sandel launched his famous Justice course, that public lecture series, using perspectives from great Western philosophers to help understand principles of justice and fairness. Though academically dense, surprisingly it gained massive popularity in China. The exploration of equality's possibilities has deep roots in Western tradition. Today's book is a classic on equality, Discourse on the Origin and Basis of Human Inequality. We'll refer to it as the origin of inequality for simplicity. First, let's meet the author, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, key Enlightenment figure celebrated worldwide posthumously. His era's monarchical system, built on hierarchy, eroded natural equality and freedom. Enlightenment thinkers thus sought inequality's origins to critique monarchy. Rousseau was naturally one of them. But Rousseau went further. His critique targeted human civilization itself. His stance diverged sharply from mainstream Enlightenment figures like Voltaire and Diderot. Voltaire believed humanity's bright future was assured through Enlightenment ideals. Rousseau, however, saw humanity's golden age in the distant past, predicting societal decline. Enlightenment intellectuals could only try to alleviate humanity's post-corruption suffering. But remember, folks, this forms Rousseau's fundamental premise in the origin of inequality. This book originated from 1753 Dijon Academy's essay competition. Though Rousseau lost the competition, the work caused seismic intellectual shockwaves. His failure stemmed not from poor writing, but from being radically innovative. The profound treatise revolves around two core questions. First, are humans born unequal? Second, if not, how did inequality develop? His answers shocked contemporaries. Rousseau argued humans aren't inherently unequal. Natural equality exists. Increasing social interactions and civilization actually deepened inequality. All right, let's dive into how Rousseau reached these conclusions. Structurally, the book contains a preface followed by two main sections. Part 1 examines, did pre-civilization humans experience today's inequality? Rousseau's first step was distinguishing two different layers. Natural differences like height, intelligence, or physique, and socially constructed inequalities like wealth or status. Take Bill Gates, smarter than most, natural difference. His greater wealth and influence, socially constructed inequality. Rousseau believed previous scholars failed this crucial distinction. So, thus, understanding inequality requires examining both aspects sequentially. Prevailing pre-Rousseau thought linked social inequality to innate differences. Aristotle claimed masters naturally possessed superior rationality than slaves, thus justifying master-slave hierarchy as natural order. To challenge this view, Rousseau introduced the concept of state of nature. This primordial state regresses humans to their most primitive, isolated, animal-like existence. Rousseau argued that studying pre-civilized humans requires eliminating social influences, as Aristotle failed to do, like removing friction in physics experiments to study pure motion. We must strip away social constructs. So, what are humans like without social conditioning? Take the famous case of wolf children. Abandoned infants raised by animals, crawling on all fours without language or moral concepts. This approximates Rousseau's vision of natural or primitive humans. Rousseau identified three characteristics of pre-social humans. First, living through senses rather than reason. Primitive humans lacked abstract thinking or future planning, living moment to moment, only reacting to immediate needs, sleep when tired, eat when hungry, no concept of storing food for later hunger. Second, driven by two natural impulses: survival instinct, amour de soi. The self love manifests as basic survival behaviors: eating, fighting, mating. The second impulse is natural compassion for others. As Mencius said, all humans possess innate empathy. Compassion isn't learned, but instinctual. We instinctively avert our eyes from others' suffering. This instinctive reaction demonstrates compassion at work. Third, primitive humans lived in isolation without language communication. From these characteristics, Rousseau's primitive humans resemble animals. But humans differ through perfectibilité, the capacity for self-improvement. Otherwise, how could humans survive without animal strengths like speed or fur? Now that we understand Rousseau's primitive human concept, let's address the core question. Why does Rousseau believe natural state prevents inequality? Rousseau theorized sparse populations with self-sufficient individuals, no conflicts or dependencies. Without resource competition or social hierarchy, inequality couldn't emerge. Let's summarize key points. Natural differences couldn't create dominance without social dependency systems. Since humans are born equal, inequality's roots lie in social development. Part 2 examines how social structures bred inequality through 5 stages. Rousseau traces natural equality's erosion into social hierarchy. The 5 developmental stages are: 1. Emergence of collective living. 2. Development of economic systems. 3. Establishment of legal frameworks. 4. Creation of administrative institutions. 5. Degeneration into tyrannical governance. All right, let's follow Rousseau's framework to see how naturally equal humans became shackled by inequality. Stage 1. Emergence of collective living, the genesis of human inequality. As established earlier, natural state humans lived self-centered existences. Rousseau hypothesized population growth and environmental changes led to family units forming tribes. Humans adapted to communal life, developing social competition and vanity through increased interactions. The seed of inequality consciousness took root here. Rousseau used tribal dances as example, joy mixed with performance rivalry. We crave better performance than others, seeking attention and applause. Thus begins our obsession with others' opinions and living through external validation. Like Adam and Eve, hiding after eating the forbidden fruit in Genesis. This allegory mirrors Rousseau's thesis, self-consciousness as original sin. Humanity's expulsion from Eden began with social awareness. Remember, this marks society's first chain of inequality according to Rousseau. Our mental paradigm shifted, forgetting authentic desires, obsessing over social performance instead. Moving to stage 2, establishment of economic inequality. Primitive humans needed no division of labor or mutual dependence, but increased interactions revealed material benefits of cooperation. Coveting more possessions birthed the concept of property rights, more is better mentality. The first step was establishing private property concepts. If our labor's fruits could be arbitrarily taken, wealth pursuit becomes futile. The desire for wealth could never be fulfilled under such conditions. Rousseau famously said, "The first person who enclosed land, saying, 'This is mine,' finding simpletons to believe him, became civilization's true founder." Cooperation yields greater results than individual efforts in wealth accumulation. But natural talent variations necessitated social division of labor. Rousseau criticized this division. Physical mental advantages determine hierarchy. The naturally gifted dominate production chains' upper echelons. Take early gender roles. Why men hunt, women homemake. Male physical superiority in hunting made them economic pillars. Thus, women became economically dependent. Gender inequality's origin. Scale this pattern to entire societies. Division of labor enables wealth concentration, creating rich or poor divide. Stage 3, legal inequality institutionalization. Economic disparity created vulnerability for the wealthy. Wealthy but physically weak minorities feared poor minorities' potential plunder. Thus, the rich proposed legal systems protecting everyone's peace, a strategic move. Legal codification finalized humanity's departure from natural equality. Rousseau saw this legislation as wealthy elites' conspiracy. Property protection laws institutionalized inequality. My freedom to exploit, your freedom to starve. Thus, economic inequality became legally codified, transforming into juridical inequality. Stage 4. Institutionalization of political inequality. The laws require enforcement mechanisms, credible authorities to adjudicate disputes. Thus, post legislation came the establishment of administrative institutions. This birthed the role of government officials. Different governance systems emerged based on official hierarchies. Concepts like political power, prestige, and honor became entrenched. History shows many frail emperors outliving robust laborers. Natural physical disadvantages, irrelevant to political privilege. Political authority derived solely from institutional power, not merit. Stage 5. Total Inequality Era. Rousseau's grim conclusion. Escalating political inequality culminates in tyranny. Tyrants represent peak inequality. Master-slave dynamic universalized. All become equal slaves under single master. Virtue reduced to obedience. Thus, humanity completes its fall from natural to servile equality. Let's summarize part 2 of The Origin of Inequality. Rousseau's core thesis: social interaction breeds comparative psychology and artificial desires. Natural differences become social hierarchies through civilization. Civilization itself is inequality's breeding ground. Social development inevitably intensifies oppression. Despite his pessimism, Rousseau proposed 2 remedies to address social inequality in later works. In Emile, he advocated natural education to return humanity to primal simplicity. The second solution, building ideal political communities, explored in The Social Contract. Finally, let's examine 2 major historical evaluations of this work. First, Romanticist interpretation. Voltaire famously criticized it as an attack on human dignity. After reading it, his iconic remark, "No one ever spent so much effort making us beasts." This view interprets Rousseau as advocating complete rejection of civilization, hence Rousseau's reputation as Romanticism's forefather. Second, Marxist interpretation. Rousseau's extensive critique of private property resonates with socialist thought. His calls for economic equality made him proto-socialist inspiration. Scholars recognize him as early critic of capitalist systems, influencing both French utopians and Marxist theorists. This concludes our exploration of discourse on inequality. Find keynotes below the audio. Until tomorrow.